So today we're going to open our bucket list and apply some formatting. So to begin, the first thing we're going to do is, if you haven't already, go ahead and add a title to your page. Now titles are always centered and they should look a little different than the rest of the text, but what I'd like for you to do is actually apply this as what's called heading 1. So this will change the formatting. Now I know it also adjusts its center, but this is one of the options for heading. You could also choose title, but for today we're just going to use heading 1. If you don't see it, you can also click here to see the different styles that are available. So we've changed our heading, or excuse me, our title to heading 1. Now we're going to get into our list. For our first list item, what I would like for you to do is change our font style. This is also called your typeface. And you can click and see all the options, or if you start typing, we're going to adjust this to a font called Broadway. Forgot what that was for a second. Then I can see it. I can hit enter or go down and select it. And then I also want you to increase the font size. Now instead of just using this one, there's a button to the right that actually is called increase font size. So I'm going to click that to increase our font size. So item number 1 is formatted. On item number 2, we're going to highlight number 2 and change our text highlight color. So not the font color, that's our font color, but here we're going to highlight this text. And here we do see some options. I asked in the assignment to be a light blue. That makes it hard to read there. So even though it's not light blue, I'm going to choose turquoise. And then that way we have applied a highlight color, and we're going to go ahead and decrease the font size. So again, not using our actual button here, but decrease is a way to make your font size one font smaller. Except because I didn't have it highlighted, it did not do it. So decrease font size. Now we've got a size 10. Moving on to number 3. Item 3, we're going to change our font color, and we're going to change it to purple. And that's it for number 3. Moving on here for number 4. Highlight our text, and for number 4, we actually want to not highlight our text, but go to the end instead and insert a smiley face symbol. So if I click on insert, we have our options for symbol in the top right corner. Now if I go down through here, you should see a few, and there's smiley. So I'm going to click to insert smiley at the end of number 4. Moving on to number 5, we want number 5 to actually look like number 1, but we're going to use on the home screen, we're going to use this option called Format Painter. So for Format Painter to work, I'm going to highlight my text, and then I'm going to go up and I'm going to double click on the Format Painter. Now when I move my mouse back over the font, do you see how it actually has a little paintbrush beside it? So what we want to do then is highlight our text here for number 5, and when I let go, it copies exactly the way that this formatting looks. Now if I click on any of the others, then it's going to do those too. So you have to be careful where you click, because when we double click here, that actually kept it on. So I'm going to undo what I last did and then just make sure my Format Painter is off. To get it off, if you just click off the side, then that way it'll go away. Moving on to item number 6. For this one, we're going to add what's called a strike through effect. Strike through is an easy one right here. It draws a line through it. So actually in our list, it looks like we changed our mind, and that's not one that we are going to do. Moving on to item number 7. For item number 7, we're going to apply another style. This time we're going to call it emphasis. So you can see that italicizes our text, which is a good way to emphasize your text, or bold, or even underline. Number 8, we're going to change this one to be center aligned. Number 9, we're going to move to add a font effect to this one, and we want to add a reflection. So up here under this letter A that looks like word art, we've got our text effects. So I'm going to click down, and you can see the different effects. We're going to go down to reflection, and add a reflection. And any of the reflections here would be fine by me. Just click one, and you can see your text has then created the effect of a reflection. Finally, on number 10, we want to change this to actually be all capital letters. Now, there are a couple of different ways to do this. There's an option here that's called Change Case. And if I click that, it says, okay, which one do we want to have? So all caps would be all capital letters, so we can click uppercase. We could have also expanded the font option, and there's an option here that's called all caps, and then that's another way to do the same thing. Now, we've applied formatting to all of our list items, but we're not done yet. So I also want you to add what are called sub-bullets to any one of your items. So if I click on number 1 and I hit enter, it's automatically going to add a second list item. Now I don't want to add 11 items. I want this to be an item under my number 1. So if I actually change my indent, there are options here for decrease, but I'm going to click on increase indent. And you can see that number 2 now went to a letter A because it's under my number 1. I think yesterday I asked you guys to do bullets, not numbered. So if I actually just click bullets, that'll change it, and it does the same thing. Now if I click decrease indent, it takes it back to normal. And if I click increase indent, it takes it to that new sub bullet. So we're going to add 2 things here. Would like to see Venice, and then I can put something like a gondola is the boat driven in the canals. So maybe just a couple of notes to myself. I would like you to add at least 2 sub bullets to any one of your items. We're going to do just a couple more things. We're also going to go to our design, and I want you to apply a page color to this document. Now it can be any color that you choose. Just make sure that there's not, a whole lot of craziness going on and you can still read your text. So nothing super dark. And then I'd also like, for while you're here, to add a page border. And the border can be anything that you'd like for it to be. So if you scroll through, you can see some options there, or you want to spice it up even more, there's an option for border art down here in the bottom. So maybe I decide that I'm going to add the star border. I can change my style, I can change my color, well, in some of these, and I click OK, and then it adds it to my list. Final item we're going to do is we're going to insert a picture. Now the picture needs to be related to any one of the items in your list. So I could even type bucket list, or I could type Italy, or I can type whatever it is that I'd like to search for. And then wherever I have whatever picture I decide that I'd like to use, so if I use the picture of the bucket, when I insert it, it does mess up my formatting. So what I'd like for you to do is change it. Now normally we've been moving in front of text for wrap text, but now I'd actually like for you to do square. And if you notice when I do square, see how the text down here, it's not beside it. But when I hit square, the text moves up and wraps around it. So we change it to square, and then if I just drag it over, I want to add it to the right-hand side. Now even though we did have text that was centered, that was this item here, it's more indented than the rest, so you'll still get credit. Once you're finished, you're going to save your changes and submit online.